Let's do it. Fuck you. Yeah. Yeah. These niggas, they always be trying to get over. These niggas, they always be trying to get over. Yeah. These niggas, they always be trying to get over. The pilot so high, ain't trying to get sober. I came from the jungle with lions and cobras. They lie, the roaches, they lie, they quarters the bars, and they fly with the vultures. You little guys, I don't know much. I'ma let you sit in the rain. I got no more room, you can't sit on my plane. Yeah. Remembering all of this shit in my brain. You might be gone, but the vision remains. So this little picture I paint gon' paint you the same, no matter how much time gone. I'm so fucking petty, I'm a bit of pilot, even at my flight zone. Yeah, nigga flew fucking on the moon, bitch, I'm the new Mike Ho. Gotta make some moves, so this weight I lose, looking like I had my phone. Play balls, about to fly away, no pun intended or typo. Archangel Uriel, motherfucking psychic, and a psycho. Yeah. Yeah. These niggas, they always be trying to get over. These niggas, they always be trying to get over. Yeah. Trust me, my nigga, I ain't meeting friends. I fell on this earth and I ain't need a plan. Sometimes I get mad cause God ain't see my land. I've been through it all, I've been through the fall, and still my eyes wanna see the land. But for these eyes, gonna need exams because they the physical form. I don't really use these tools cause my vision's deformed. That's the shit I see in my world, man, it really ain't norm. When you try to explain, that's the type of shit that get you ignored. Cause they look at this like it's foreign, not made in the USA. Superhero status through my cake, gotta make moves today, piling that fluid. With the Charlie's Angels, Cameron Drew, and I was with the loot today. After I saw all three, can you guess how much loot I made? I made so much that I could move away and give me a spiritual healing. When the lights come on, you get stepped like a deer in a village. Fuck you. Yeah. Fuck you. Yeah. These niggas, they always be trying to get over. These niggas, they always be trying to get over. Fuck you.
What's up, Mac Gang?
Yeah. Fuck you. Yeah.
These cats fucking with me, man. I'm not fucking with this shit.
Yeah. These niggas, they always be trying to get over. These niggas, they always be trying to get over. Fuck you. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Check it out, y'all. Jet Spark Star Pilot in this motherfucker. And check it out, man. You know, the Monn In Aquarius and shit like that. So with that being said, right, we're gonna be in times where so it's gonna be a fixed air, you know what I'm saying, fixed air communication type of energy, you know what I'm saying, and with the sun about to transition into Capricorn too, well, the moon's about to transition into Aquarius at the moment, but with the sun about to transition too, that's kind of like both that energy, some sort, it's like a movement energy, so it's kind of like whatever it is that we're gonna be participating in and shit, things of that nature, you're gonna want to try to be founded with associates or co-workers or people that you may not know familiar with in general. So it's kind of like you want to be in spaces where you can communicate whatever you got going on with people like-minded just as you know what I'm saying. And it could be strangers as well too, because sometimes your strangers be your family, you know what I'm saying. So it's kind of like when you be in this kind of state, this kind of space, you're in energies of where you can relate more with the universe and with yourself. And with that being said, you know what I'm saying, this the moon in Aquarius is going to be pushing us to uh wanting to relate and associate some sort of some sort of stubborn in a way energy, but not stubborn in a bad way, like stubborn in a way where we can actually feel contained, you know, so we can actually feel fulfilled in a way how we foundate ourselves, you know what I'm saying. And the way we gonna foundate ourselves and shit like that is gonna be in ways in how we can initiate uh uh ways in how to express a certain thought, you know what I'm saying. And then not to be too much in our feelings, you know what I'm saying, because when you're too much in your feelings, then that no one's gonna really want to hear what you got to say. So when you express more of it just being as is, you know what I'm saying, just you being yourself, you expressing the way you connect with strangers or people you may not be aware of at the moment. At least at that moment, you can be aware that you can create uh other home and environments for that can protect you and your the things you don't need to show to others, you know what I'm saying. So you don't need to show all the the coins, all the shit. You know what I'm saying? You don't got to flip no card. You don't got to play no Joker type of level of time, and you can just be as is. Because when you be as is, that's when you're close to God at that point, at that moment. Because you know what I'm saying, God just wants you to be as is. You know what I'm saying? You gotta be like it. So when you're as is, as it, like it, then you have no choice but to be seen as miraculous in all type of sort of ways and shit, things of that nature, right? So with that being said, the sun in Aquarius is going to push us. The moon in Aquarius is going to push us and how we can relate that. You know what I'm saying? It's going to test us. It's basically like test your flight. You know what I'm saying? It's going to test and see how you can relate something that can associate or you can like feel uh founded and sturdy in a way like that. So you don't gotta feel like you gotta express everything out. You know what I'm saying? If you gonna express something, at least express it in a fixed way. You know what I'm saying? You don't gotta be all over the place like Gemini. You don't gotta be a relatable like Libra. You can just straight up be you. You know what I'm saying? As Aquarius. You know what I'm saying? So when you can, so it may look stubborn, it may look not founded, it may look, but see, you gotta create those energies for itself to make it appear like that. So when it appears like that, you can actually create some sort of energy field with yourself. So when you got some sort of energy field with yourself, you got the certain know-how, you got that certain, so your words become solid. You know what I'm saying? Your words become uh your words become their emotion. So people get moved when you say shit. People get moved on the way you talk and communicate. So that will kind of be like a transition to when we get into the moon in Pisces, because the moon moves quickly in general. So, but as of now, it's going to be in Aquarius. So with the Aquarius energy, you want to make sure what you're founding yourself, you create those certain energies for yourself. You don't get lost and shit like that. And you know, don't feel like you gotta be, like I said, you don't feel like you want to be like uh a business savvy person, because when you're a business savvy person at the moment, when you're business savvy, that's like you're not being like relatable at that time, because you're not being relatable, especially when we're not with family, not family, but we're not with strangers at the moment. You got to be in places where you got to be connected with people that are not maybe as like-minded as you, or maybe not as the same kind of feeling as you, but at least y'all can connect in ways that it goes beyond these actual words. Y'all can just connect in a way of just understanding and bringing like some sort of wave down here. So when you connect that, express that with people, now you're more in the feeler. You know what I'm saying? You can more be connecting. That's kind of how Aquarius can understand feelings too, because that's why it's called the water barrier, or the man with the cup, or whatever they be he be holding. You know what I'm saying? Because the Aquarius can understand the emotions too. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, the emotion energy is kind of what you can conceal, or what you can consider for yourself, and when you consider that for yourself, then you can express that with the environment. Then you can express that with people, uh, like strangers, people that may not like be in the same type of timing as you, because like now you're in spaces where it don't really like that don't really matter at the at the moment. It's like really just for you to create something out of that, something out of that nothing. So like, you know what I'm saying? It's like shit like that. It's like, don't like you can feel all types of ways, but see, the feeling's not gonna get you anywhere if you don't have the sufficient thought and idea for them. You know what I'm saying? The thought form. You know what I'm saying? The thought form is what's supposed to uh uh conceal that feeling. You know what I'm saying? Or it's supposed to uh, combine that feeling. You know what I'm saying? Because without the feeling, you know what I'm saying, the thought can't go nowhere. You know what I'm saying? So with the thought being just vague and just being out there, you're not going to be able to express something with yourself, express something to others without having the feeling. So when you got the feeling with it, you can connect that, and you can gas that shit. So it's depending on how powerful that thought and feeling is together, you can create that and create something like some crazy shit, some crazy shit where you can associate with some people that you may not know, but someone may be like some millionaires person. They may just fuck with you just because the energy you're kicking is just like the things that come out your words is like they can relate to that no matter what, especially with the sun being Aquarius at the moment. It's about to move though, but with the sun being Aquarius at the moment, you know what I'm saying, you can also get in that little fixed energy. So we're all gonna be feeling, we're all gonna be like a stubborn like energy, but it's not gonna be for, it may not, it could be negative if you make it negative, but it can really be on the energy of positive if you know how you're doing it. So the certain air like energies, because it's going to be like airheaded, especially with the Mars being it. So we've been in the airheaded like time in general, right? But it's kind of like if you know how to ride these little airheaded energies and know how to separate from these and know how to use them when you have to use them, then you're on the right track. Because now you're in the track of knowing how to associate your actual creativity. You know what I'm saying? You don't gotta just be all airheaded and be like, oh, I gotta do this, I gotta do that, I gotta do this, I gotta do that. Oh, no. You can just do it and then know how to express that. You know what I'm saying? Because when you do it, then the expression comes next. Because when you do something, then you get an expression. Or if you do want to express something out, because somebody gave you their one two about a situation, that's how you can express it. But when you let somebody know something, you let them know something, then you can express how you feel and know. And then once you're in doing that little loop, now you're like playing with you're playing with the doll, you're playing with the what's it called, you're playing with the, it's like you're playing with the house, the Barbie house or the Ken house. So you know what I'm saying, as a, you know, like for a kid, you're playing around. So you're like you're jumping off the porch in the house and talking to strangers and letting them know about your new ideas and creativities and shit, whatever it is you got going on, as long as it's something that can create something that to have us think and feel. All right, so I think we're back right now. Making sure. I'll make sure. I don't want to just talk and not be back in this motherfucker. Are you good? So yeah. So as long as like, well, yeah. So what the fuck? Yeah. So you be like in the house aspect. So it's like when you're relating, you're connecting like that. It's like you express your new creative ideas to the outside people who may not be aware of that shit. So when you connect with shit like that, now you're in spaces where it don't even like you can bring out some new gifts, some new creative ideas and some new talents and shit like that. And then you're on like a bigger mission. You know what I'm saying? You're on a mission where you can actually get people to build with you. You know what I'm saying? Or get people to associate with you and shit like that. If that makes, if you get what I'm trying to say. So it's kind of like shit like that. But don't fuck all that weird shit. Don't even feel like you gotta be all out there if you feel like you shouldn't. You know what I'm saying? Because this is just the energies in the sky with the moon being Aquarius. And so it's kind of like it's gonna push us to, if we're, whether we're not motherfucking we're not associating with strangers or like-minded people like us or in general. It's kind of like you want to be in a space where you're doing that within yourself at least. So it's like kind of like when you're communicating with like other like 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 uh uh foreign thoughts and feelings that aren't from you, that you know that are not from you. So when you're interacting with these ones, it's like you know how to connect them and see the wrongs and rights or wrongs about them. You know, if you want to go all in or all out with that with that thought form, you know what I'm saying, whether it be about anything in general, you just know how to communicate with that. You know what I'm saying? See, the Aquarius is just the externalized version of these things, but you know what I'm saying, if you want to internalize these things, you can do it in shit like that, in ways like that, and all types of little tricks and shit like that. But that's just for that aspect in general. But with that being said, you still want to be in spaces of where you at least push yourself to actually communicate and be out there with somebody or with something, or a place. So you know you're putting something out in the universe. So when you put something out in the universe, you got something that you got like the ball rolling for yourself. So whatever the goal is in your mind at the moment, as long as you know what you're the way where you're directing that wave, where you're directing that current, where you're directing that transition, where you're directing that purpose, you know, the purpose is just to get to a certain ideology or a goal that you're on your mind. So whatever's on your mind, you know, what you got going on your mind is for the better. You know what I'm saying? It's for what you need to happen. So what you want to manifest down here, what you want to accumulate out of that little information and information and shit like that. And you want to be in spaces of where when you know these things, you know what you're doing. So you're in spaces of where, yeah, I got it. You know what I'm saying? So you don't feel all over the place and shit like that. You just feel like, yeah, it's necessary. You know what I'm saying? I had to be in that space. I had to be in that energy to even manifest or even come up with certain ways and how to communicate with myself and others. So I know how to better myself with other people's ways on how they relate with themselves, because I didn't already done so much shadow work that I already know that my purpose now is just to relate that with people. So when I relate that with people, I don't need to second scratch my head and think, oh, but why I don't gotta think with people. You know what I'm saying? I already did the shadow work, so I know, and I'm still doing the shadow work. So I already know that it ain't my problem. It can't be me. It's gotta be the environment. So if the environment is doing all that shit, then you know, all right, so you know how to separate these things. You know how to put these things into like limbo. You know how to put these things into in line. So you know how to, shit like that. But you know what I'm saying? I don't know. It's like it's weird. You gotta be hip to this shit. So it's kind of like don't feel like the whole purpose is just to not be in the 1-2. You still gotta be in the 1-2, because nigga, if you ain't in the 1-2, then you're not really fucking around with the idea with your what you call them, your right views. You know what I'm saying? Your right, because these are all eyes and shit like that. So your right views, you're not really getting the right aspect, the right ideologies, the right thought forms, the right feelings. You're kind of lost in the world. So don't get lost in the world. This motherfucker, you never want to be lost. Never. You always want to be known. You have it. You always want to know that it's in you, not on you. You know what I'm saying? Because when it's in you, not on you, you don't need to express nothing. You don't need to think or feel nothing. You already got it within you and shit like that. And shit like that. You know what I'm saying? But yes, with shit like that. So it's kind of like with energies like that, we can always find some sort of comfort, some sort of foundation, some sort of anything, some sort of, as long as you know what the fuck you're doing is for your actual like it's like the best way I can explain it is like if you have like if you have like a paper, right? And and let's say like let's say you're like a kid, right? You got, it's like a kid with paper, right? The kid be drawing all types of imaginations, all types of colors, all types of whatever they be doing, right? And there's all types of scribbling and shit. And see, in their mind, the kid has it like this, man. This is some creative shit right here. You know what I'm saying? And people in general, like adults or whatever, they show to like their parents. You know what I'm saying? Because most of the time they be having generational curse ass parents, so they may not see the actual vision. But see, the whole point of what the kid did is the kid didn't care about no other thought or feeling, no other, because kids are spiritual. You know what I'm saying? Kids, especially when you're a kid, you're already in the spiritual space. So kids didn't care about no external thoughts or feelings. Kids didn't care of no what this kid would think about it, what their brother or sister or what anyone would think about what had in their mind, that what they're doing is the creativity. What they're doing is the balance. What they're doing is the gift. What they're doing is the actual purpose. So when they do all that shit, the whole point is so be in that energy of, nah, I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna show my mom this, or I'm gonna show my grandma this, or I'm gonna show, you know what I'm saying? Anyone you show. So when you show it to them, that's why it's like you may, so it's like you being an adult, you may be dumb and think yeah, yeah, they just hyping them up because they're kids and the kids don't know what they do. Nah, see, you don't see, you're not going deep. You're not thinking like you're not spiritual at that point. See, if you're spiritual, you would know. See, the kid they doesn't give a fuck about your thought or feeling or their thoughts or feelings. And the kid don't give a fuck in general. See, the kid, the whole purpose was the kid was the kid to put something on that paper. So that was the goal, put something on that paper. The kid didn't really give a fuck about anything else. It could have put some up. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, so the purpose of the kid showing it to the person, the person, the adult that they want to show it to. The whole purpose was to, it was like that energy of look at, pay attention to this, and the kid didn't have this. It's bad. The kid didn't have it's good. The kid just did. This kid just had in his mind, it is what it is, and I did it. You know what I'm saying? And once the kid showed it, that's the only reason why it's kind of like low key. They be in a vulnerable state, but they don't see it like that because they don't see that as a vulnerability. You know what I'm saying? So when the kid, when the mom or the parent or the adult or the grandma or the grandpa, or whatever, when they see it, they have no choice. But like, oh what? Oh my god! You know what I'm saying? So it's like that. So it's like whether, so in their mind they just said that because as the adult they just they really think like they really got that energy, they really got that vibe, they really got that transition, that like wave, that current of events of that shit was dope though. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I don't think no other kid would do it like that, because all kids have their own little things on why they do the things they do, why they point out the things they point out. So it's all types of like imaginations that be in their mind, and it all came from mine, no pun intended. So with that being said, that's kind of how this Aquarius energy and the sun, a moon, and Aquarius energy is gonna be. Like, nigga, how can you associate? How can you show your creativity to people that you may not be aware? Like, and I said parents and grant, but take this as like when you see the universe, when you see everyone else, like, when you see people like yourself, you it's like they could be strangers, but as long as you see everyone, it's like when you dream, it's like you seeing a different perspective of yourself, right? So like take that out in the real world. When you meet people, it's like you're seeing your reflection, the same like you were there too. Like it's some shit like that. So it's like you gotta be spiritual. So when you show something, when you let someone know about your creativity, a stranger or associate or whatever know about your creativity, that's like the whole point. As long as you have, nigga, I don't give a fuck about what they think. And I don't think a fuck they think it's good or if it's bad. The whole point is I'm gonna express this shit and have the goal in my mind. So the kids' goal would be, yeah, the goal is just to write it on the paper. See, if you're an adult spirit and you know what you're doing, your goal is just to have whatever your goal was in your mind to express however you externalize what you said to a individual, associate, place, or thing, stranger, place, whatever. So it's kind of like you have the energy work and you're putting that shit out in the universe, and whether what you're associating is aren't like they be flunked out people. That's not the point. See, if you're associating with something in general, like if you're associating an energy of just being out there with people in general, then the universe will give you back with spaces of where you you already are in spaces of this, like you're connecting with the universe. So when you're connecting with the universe, you can only manifest like-minded people just like you that are in that state of thinking of they don't mind expressing their creativity, don't mind expressing their gifts and talents to strangers, places, and things, and associates and shit like that. All 11th house energy, you know what I'm saying? So they don't mind that shit because this with the moon being in the 11th house. All right, for example, with the sun being in the 11th house, it's not. It's really an Aquarius, but see, with the 11th house, these are just like houses. So the houses don't really express the actual Aquarius sign, but since the Aquarius is uh not relies but resigns in the 11th house, that's kind of why the energies are the same. So with the 11th house energy in general, that's kind of gonna be like the energy of this, like associates, people, places, things, but all strangers, like people you may not be aware of at the moment. So it's energies like that. So with the moon being in that kind of house aspect in a totality, and then the sun being there, you know what I'm saying? That's a conjunction. So with that conjunction, you know what I'm saying? It's gonna be spaces of where like y'all may be budging heads, but see it's gonna move out quickly. But I'm just talking, but it's gonna be y'all gonna be spaces where y'all be bunching heads or not. You know what I'm saying? Getting too, but see if y'all are already in spaces of where you already have that goal in your mind, but now I'm just gonna express it because I don't care if it's good or bad. I just gotta express this shit. You know what I'm saying? That's how you harness the emotion of it. So whether they were higher or lower octave of that sign, whether they're experiencing the higher octave of that or the lower octave. So the higher octave would be like they know what they do, and the lower octave would be like they don't know what they're doing. So if they're in a higher octave perspective, then they're in this place where wherever they're doing, they can actually like be in the spaces where they what they can harness the emotion with that, so they can move the wave, they can move the tide, they can move the vibration. So when they move you know what I'm saying, the shit, when they move the frequency, no, the wave of events, they know that the whole thing is to rely on what they got to foundate with themselves. So when they foundate something with themselves, they can relate that better with the actual world. So when they relate that better with the actual world, and they have something to preach, they have something to do. So that's something to preach and do is something that on its own, that when that own can end, when that own drops down, the only thing that can represent you is with your goal at that time, because that goal was the whole purpose of it. So whatever you express, the own was what you own, that energy. So once you own it and that shit eventually fades away, then the goal sustains itself. So the goal is the whole purpose of it. So when you got the goal in mind, now you got the actual ideology, the ideology of, yes, I got like I got what I needed. You know what I'm saying? Or you not needed, but I got what I wanted. You know what I'm saying? Because you never want to be the never want to be in the needed energy. The need is kind of like, that means you don't really need it. You know what I'm saying? That's like, that means like you be like some shit. Like, nah, you always want to be, I want it, because when you want it, that's how you will it. You know what I'm saying? And that's how you will that shit into your existence. That's how you will it into your you know what I'm saying, your chakras, and then you already, it's like in you, not on you. But usually when you want something, you're in spaces where it's like you're already desperate, you're already like in desire and distress and all that shit. But when you want it, it's like, nigga, I want that shit. You know what I'm saying? So shit like that. So it's kind of like you're in that energy if you want it. So that goal you want, it comes in faster because you already knew how to harness the emotion of it. So when you had that fixed air energy with it, with your own energy, when you own that energy, then the goal comes. Then once that shit fades away, the goal comes to mind, and you already have the shit with you. So when you have the shit with you, then you know you're there for a purpose. Then that will transition you to the moon in Pisces. And when the moon gets into Pisces, then you're gonna have to do that all over again with the moon being in Pisces energy, so the mutable water energy. So it's gonna be shit where you just know what the fuck you gotta be hip to the actual like cycles, because the moon moves quickly in general. So you gotta be hip to that shit. The sun takes its time, but the moon moves quickly and shit like that. So you just gotta be in energies where you know what the fuck you're doing and what the fuck you be, you know what I'm saying, participating in the everyday world and shit like that. And it's gonna be an airheaded time at the moment when it gets this gets to this space, because with Mercury being in Aquarius too. So we're gonna be in an airheaded time in. So it's like a lot of things going on. But you know, as long as you're riding the wave, as long as you know what the fuck you're doing, then you're on the right path at the end of the day. You don't gotta worry about too much about the external realm. You know, once you're foundating yourself in the internal realm, you know the external realm has no choice but to bow down to you and respect your gifts and talents. You know what I'm saying? Respect is the only thing you need at the moment. You don't need no liking, no, you don't need no one liking or giving. No, you just need the respect. So when you get the respect, that's all you need. You know what I'm saying? And the other shit will come to come to its formation. You know what I'm saying? Like a Beyonce song, shit like that. But yeah, so it's like, man, get that, you know what I'm saying? Shit like that. But yeah, shit like that. It's like, man, it's like either you spiritual, you not. You know what I'm saying? At this point, you know what I'm saying? You got, and when you're spiritual, you gotta be aware and good at all walks of life. You know what I'm saying? When you're aware and good at all walks in life, you're kind of in spaces where you don't even need, like I said, you don't need no validation. You know what I'm saying? You don't need no people, no one upholding your ego. You know what I'm saying? Because you're not really in an ego at that moment. You know what I'm saying? You're just within understanding yourself. You know what I'm saying? Once you do the shadow work, you don't need no ego at the moment, and then your vulnerabilities become your ego at that moment. So you're in spaces where you're already playing the game and shit like that, like EA Sports in the game. You know what I'm saying? You playing the game, and we playing the game and shit like that. It's like you know what the fuck. He's like, you may not even need a controller at that point, or you may not need no flunked out keyboard, because I know they be, you know, the PC gamers, they be on that should be flunked. I don't that ain't even no real game. I mean, that's some, but I ain't gonna get too deep in that. But yeah, you don't need no like keyboard, you don't need no controller, you don't need none of that shit. You just it's like it's like a new thing for you, and like in your mind, you didn't create a whole type of way of gaming. You know what I'm saying? Gaming is just when whatever you choose to associate, like pick it, like pick for yourself. So it's like your hand because the wand becomes the actual thing. So you'd be doing all types of, it's like it's like some shit, like let's say you're playing Tetris or whatever like that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you don't even gotta use a controller to stick that they nigga your mind becomes the actual controller, so you controlling the situation, so you just putting, so you, because you already know where shit leading to, so you don't gotta wear out your fucking hands or get stressed out, like, oh shit, damn, then I just usually the mind becomes the controller, and you do all that shit on in the mind. You don't need no, so you don't even need a you ain't got no use to even use your hands. You ain't got no energy to even use your hands. You just use your mind. So when you're in that state, now you're in states of where you don't even you just, it's like you're moving shit by yourself. You know what I'm saying? You're moving shit on your own. You know what I'm saying? And it's all on you, nigga. Like as long as you do it for your do it within you and do it for God, then that self care will become flow what's that word, flourishing, flow, whatever you say, flourishing with its own gifted talent, or with its own fire, you know what I'm saying, with its own spark, or its own eagle, what do you want to call it, or with its own uh 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 space, you know what I'm saying, own space, own plane, with own whatever. You already got your own thing you got going on. So whatever you got going on is the thing, that is the power, you know what I'm saying. So you got, and then you got all types of shit that you can use, and the shit you can get like ovulating or whatever you got, whatever you say, you get this shit like going, you know what I'm saying. Your mind is always pregnant. You always got this shit that you can just release and release from the mind, or release from just from the brain. And I'm just, because I'm pointing here don't mean this is the mind. I'm just saying, I'm just talking, right? But so you'll be releasing all types of ways, right? And when you're doing that, you're in spaces where, like, now you're in spaces where you can actually like pick out from the tree, pick out from the leaves, pick out the certain, like, especially if you let's say you grow weed, like you picking out from the weeds, the good crops, you know what I'm saying, the good weed crops, the ones you want to smoke, and then you don't want, you know the ones that aren't fully grown yet, so you're just picking out the fresh ones that you want to smoke. Yeah. And when you picking out shit like that, and then you know which one you want to get, but you're not flunked out in some other place, picking out some leaves that you know you shouldn't even be smoking. Like you picking out some whole other shit that nigga, and this is the creation of what's that shit? A little peep shit. You know what I'm saying? That's the creation of all this. You know what I'm saying? All this shit. You know what I'm saying? But see, you gotta be in spaces of where you know, like the whatever you're doing or whatever it is that you're picking out, nigga. At least you're picking out something that's like let's say you do pick out something like that you shouldn't, you know, you shouldn't be smoking. At least having your mind to know, so this is like, because you gotta see everything like a learning experience. So you know the ones you shouldn't even be smoking, even the way it looks, just be having your mind. Okay, so this is a representation of when we were spirits, and our mind bent into itself. We create certain organs and certain shit that we knew that harmed us. So we represented them into plants, into shit like that. So the ones we know we shouldn't even be smoking and shit like that. And you're in other spaces. You're in different ways of thinking everywhere. You come up with certain ways of coming up with this. Okay, so this is the reason why this even plays out negative in our lives, because we already were in low vibrational space, or in negative like spaces, or like or catastrophic like spaces when we create these leaves and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? And we were already in, we were just a representation of what the mind does. You know what I'm saying? So we the weed came, it's like a little seed, you know what I'm saying. The big seeds become the watermelons and the fruits and shit like that. The light seeds are from the mind, the weed. So it's from the air element, you know what I'm saying. It's from the left chakras, you know. The right brains will be the watermelons, the fruits, the ones, the big ass. And those are big seeds too. So the light ones will be the lemons, but the light ones will be like the straight up weed, you know what I'm saying. So the how we create weed was from the mind, was from our left brain chakra, our left brain hemisphere. So when we created the weed aspect, that was kind of like the mind. That's kind of like what we did in the mind. So that's how we even created certain shit in the mind. So the mind, like the weed, would be like the actual representation of you smoking a mind. You know what I'm saying? You smoking a plane. That's why you call it plane, or like or flight, whatever you want to call it, or just straight up you just call it a blunt. You know what I'm saying? But or you know what I'm saying? But we call these, we make it these words because like it's like something that gets us closer to like, and it really doesn't do, but it's like it's if you're spiritual, or if you ain't gotta be spiritual. Spiritual motherfuckers don't be smoking too. Spiritual, a lot of spiritual people smoke. A lot of spiritual people don't smoke. There's no right or wrong in it. But I'm gonna let you know right now, nigga. I smoke, and nigga ain't nothing wrong with me, nigga. So nigga, when you smoke, it's kind of like the whole thing is like it just it's just a mind. You know what I'm saying? Weed is just a mind. So it's like we create that shit from the mind and shit like that. But you know what I'm saying? I know off that top, I be, you know what I'm saying. But shit, besides that, it's kind of like everything in existence came from the mind. So when you know everything from existence came from the mind, now you know the negative shit harmed us, the positive shit that made us feel good and shit what helped us, or what or was a part of our creation in the mind, and our all types of shit. So we did all this shit when we were just understanding our certain awarenesses, our certain you know what I'm saying, spots, our certain everything. So it's kind of like everything, like every single thing comes from the mind. So that's what y'all gotta realize too. And you know what I'm saying? And this world ain't like the only like world, you know what I'm saying? So shit like that. Uh, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Shit like that. But yeah, I'm gonna end it right here. You know what I'm saying? We think, you know what I'm saying? I think you know what I'm saying, I'm gonna go live again later today. But you know, I just wanted to make a quick live stream with the moon being Aquarius. So like, with that being said, like the energies of moon being Aquarius, you know what I'm saying, you want to be in the spaces of where what you're relating is you're relating with people, associates, strangers, places, things that you may not be aware of yet, or if you're aware of them, you only know them as like strangers, and you may not. It's like long distance shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's almost like a long distance relationship, but it's really not like a relationship at that time. It's really like more of just a ship that you gotta ship there. It's like you creating a ship in the sea to get there. You know what I'm saying? When you get there, you meet new people that you may not be aware of, and the new people you may not be aware of, you get them hip to your creativities, your gifts, your talents, and shit like that. Y'all start building from there. And if they're on the same type of timing as you, that's even better. Now, if they're not, then that's just you should just take that as this. Uh, get with, like, associate online, because it's online too. You can, it's the same thing, Aquarius, and it's like, it's just associate with people that are strangers, but you see them as like family in a way. You know what I'm saying? Like a spiritual tribe. So you connect with people like you, like-minded people like you and shit like that. So even if you met up with someone in real life that wasn't the type of time you want, as at least you know it's like a learning experience. Take that as a learning experience. Take that as, all right, now I know how far or how much I should go and treat it like a certain situation, or certain okay, and or a certain shit in my little 1-2. It's like so you can kind of peep game and how things be going on, or things be like moving in that state of mind. So now you're in a good state of mind. So when the certain states you create in that mind can only be like some like stars, some type of like, and we eat spirits, eat stars. So as long as you know you create the good fruits, you know what I'm saying, the good fruits you create is so high up that nigga, no one can even bite from those fruits to even get to those good ass plump ass fruits. They gotta be in the same type of time and same type of level as you. So it's like y'all spiritual family are sharing together. So y'all connect y'all worlds together, and y'all have sex up there. And when y'all have sex up there, y'all create all new types of worlds and all new types of views and all new types of shit. And y'all learning is like, and then that's your new level of class, because you didn't already outgrown this class down here. So you didn't create a new level of class in the fourth, fifth, and sixth dimension. So when you create that new level of class, now you got new ways and how, and you're more aware, you're more broader, and you can connect the dots even quicker. You got all types of shit you can. It's like some other shit. So now you're in a space of like you're getting closer to God, and especially if you're already with God, God already like showed y'all these types of timings, these types of situations all over and over and over and over again, and how you can foundate yourselves in these situations and get better and get better at this. And it's like you start having fun at this moment, even if you're down here. It's you still bringing it from up there, so you start having fun with the actual 3D realm. So everything in life becomes like learning experiences. Everything in life becomes funny to you. You know what I'm saying? Even the negative shit, you have no choice but to laugh at it, because you see, oh shit, because you see the only thing you see in it is like you can't get past of this like this person's reaction, or how this person was walking down the street, or how, you know, it's some other shit. And then now you're closer to God, because you're in spaces where you feel happy most of the times. And it's not really all about feeling happy, but you're in spaces of where you control your actual emotions, your actual feelings. I mean, your actual feelings, your actual emotions, your actual thoughts, your actual ideas. Like you're controlling these things. You know what I'm saying? And you say how I feel. It's like you're using these things like bitches. Be like, all right, come here, listen. I want to feel like this, and I want to feel like this, and then you can put it together, and you really feel like that. And then however feeling and state you create for yourself, you know that the feeling state you create for yourself is a whatever you want. You can call it a high horse. You can call it an ego, the good ego. You can call it a flying thought, whatever you want to call it, light God, whatever. But see, as long as you have in your mind that nigga, this is just my little piece in the puzzle. So I know whatever I'm doing, I have my own ladder scale in this piece of puzzle, and I know not to go too far with this. And if I go too far with this, I know, nigga, I will fall. Like the higher you go, the harder you fall. But if the higher you go, and you know you weren't supposed to be in certain spaces, you come that high, nigga, there gonna be certain spirits that put you in your place. Like nigga, you know you shouldn't even be up here. So what you didn't even learn this lesson, you know. So you gotta come back down, and spirit they gotta put you back in your ass. And then nigga, you on your fucking shit. You know what I'm saying? But you gotta get on your fucking shit to even start this shit. So when you get on your fucking shit, then they can start respecting you. But at that moment, nigga, for them to even respect you, you had to be in a space of where you came to realization. All right, nigga, I'm just flunked out. So let me just get out of this flunkness. You know what I'm saying? Let me get out of this way of thinking. So nigga, at the end of the day, what I'm doing at this point is I'm creating new awarenesses, new foundations, new thoughts, new feelings for me and God. You know what I'm saying? And if God is helping me at this moment, I have no choice but to play the vessel. And the vessel is you being the pilot for God. And when you be the pilot for God, you have no choice but to walk with God in all aspects of life. And no matter how harsh, no matter how vulgar, no matter how much cuss words, no matter how much anything comes out your mouth, nigga, it's all you're doing it God's way, and that's all God wants to see from you. And then, but no, just know, respect yourself. Like don't like keep it cute. You know what I'm saying? And then we gonna end it off on that. You know what I'm saying? And just brought stop piling my man. We out. We out.